Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Twin Flame Tarot, and this is going to be the weekly forecast for the twins. Pardon me. I'm slightly getting my voice back, so do bear with me. We do have a very powerful week of energies ahead. A lot of cosmic energies pushing the twins, preparing for this reunion energy. And I do feel there's a lot of divinely guided action at this time as we're full swing in this eclipse portal gateway. So we do have a lot of very important transits at work this week, including the eclipse. So it is imperative that we be open to releasing everything that's not meant for us right now as we prepare for this union energy. We are still purging these outdated, outworn beliefs and aspects stemming around ourself, any negative patterns, any negative perceptions and relationships. So I do feel we are stepping into our new identity, our authentic identity, and we are embracing a new way of communicating. So if you are experiencing throat chakra issues, that is an upgrade in order for you to really find your authentic voice. So I do feel likely the masculine twin will be moving homes within the next week or two. In order to elevate his vibration. And divine feminine, you are encouraged to elevate your spiritual practice and to really step into joy and happiness every day by staying in the present moment. So we have a lot of supportive energy with Saturn coming up, kind of encouraging us all to make those changes for the long run. To build that solid foundation of self that is going to support your goals and your dreams moving forward. So many of us have been receiving the signs and the synchronicities from Spirit stemming around our manifestations and our goals, especially relating to, our career path moving forward. So I do think spiritual blocks are in focus. So if you have been feeling like the angels and the guides and the universe has kind of abandoned you, or if you've been feeling a little bit disconnected from source or unsupported, I do feel a major clearing is coming up surrounding these spiritual blocks. Many of the twins, I feel, have been, a lot of the divine feminines have been feeling very disconnected from their counterpart, not feeling the energy between the two the past couple months. And that's all due to the upper chakra upgrades that we've been experiencing between the crown, the third eye, and the throat. So I do feel the veil of illusion is lifting this week, especially as Neptune turns direct. So on a deep subconscious level, many of us are going into this abandonment wound, which in turn stems from that separation from source. So it is about facing any trauma wounds this week, bringing them up, allowing them to be cleared. We've been working on this for several months already, and I feel this is like the home stretch, especially as Neptune prepares to move direct in its own home sign of Pisces. Pisces is all about illusion, dream energy, and with the veil being so thin, there's a lot of energy being cleared this week when it comes to any blockages. So you may be feeling a lot of crown or third eye chakra recalibration this week in order to lift these blocks, to see clearly and to open up to these connections. So I think a lot of the energy is intense, and if you've been feeling unsupported, I highly suggest going into those meditative states in order to gain that spiritual clarity, because clarity is increasing. We're kind of letting go of these mental disruptions, this confusion. All of that will begin to settle down as Neptune goes direct. So I do feel a lot of increased telepathy between the twins, especially in dream space. A lot of communication with your guides and your ancestors, especially in meditation and in astral travel. So follow that guidance that you are receiving. I do feel there's a lot of guidance coming through for the masculine twin this week in order to support him to come towards the divine feminine. They are being guided to their highest and fullest potential. And I do feel they're in this deep process of change and transformation at this time. So This is a period where many of us are going to come into that truth of our purpose as we prepare for these unions, shifting out of these limitations and into that higher state of harmony and unconditional love. So this eclipse, portal gateway, this solar eclipse, it's, my guides have been saying for days, total eclipse of the heart. So listen to that song, total eclipse of the heart, because I do feel this is a powerful karmic reset with this eclipse season. And with this new moon energy in Sag, conjunct Mercury and Vesta, this is a restart, and it's happening for the entire collective. This is not just the twins. We're going to see a lot coming to the surface, dramatic, sudden changes within the collective, and it may feel a little bit out of control as truth and illusions are shattered, as truth comes forward and illusions are shattered. So this is basically dismantling what is no longer for our highest good, what is no longer for the highest good of the human collective. And I do feel a lot of us are being pushed to step into service when it comes to our calling. Do be prepared for a divinely guided blackout. There's going to be a blackout moment, I feel, that is going to shift us out of these unconscious states into being fully aware. It is going to create some confusion, I do feel, and the tension is building without a doubt. If you're not feeling in alignment, you are going to feel this tension building as we lead up to this eclipse on the 4th. So old issues are going to keep surfacing in order for you to release them once and for all. So I do feel this major karmic release this week, stemming around our personal identity, especially with Aries, with Chiron and Aries. That's all about self-identity and coming into alignment with our truth. So I do feel there's a lot of recalibration stemming around the karmic grid lines, these shadow timelines from the past that are being purged, especially stemming around our ancestral wounds, any past hurts, disappointments, victimhood, negativity, anything that has been unconsciously absorbed into our energetic field. So do not buy into any negativity. Do not go back and repeat a negative cycle with somebody from the past. It is about releasing these false perceptions, releasing all of that from our mind space. So if you've been feeling unworthy, unlucky, unwanted, or facing a lot of disappointments and rejection due to outside sources, that is a direct reflection of some shadow work needing to be done, stemming around past life timelines between you and your counterpart. So this eclipse really is trying to show you any disappointments really isn't about you, but it's there to get you to shift your perception, to release any fears about rejection or disappointment or being let down, because deep down, you need to release this feeling of unworthiness, of not feeling good enough. And Spirit really is pushing us all to embrace this clean slate that's being presented. So I kind of feel the masculine's about to get knocked out when it comes to this eclipse season, when it comes to his ego and his self-absorbed energy. And I do feel he is being pushed to let go, to stop spiritually bypassing in order to understand his true identity. I think get ready for major breakups and shakeups. We are releasing family and friends that just aren't serving our highest calling. And I do feel it's going to be a lot to kind of take in this week as we break free from these stories of limitations that we keep telling ourselves. And it is this very hard karmic reset button stemming around our personal beliefs and what we find true for ourselves. So I do feel get ready to break free from, family, friends, siblings, cousins, anything false that really has kept you held back from this union energy. And sometimes this can be quite dramatic as we, have several people fall out of our lives all at once. But this really is for our highest good. So learn the lesson, move on, and do what is best for you is a strong message this week. Don't hold back. If something isn't serving you, get rid of it, because your counterpart is trying to come through, and we have to embrace these changes in order to have this shakeup to prepare for union. Eclipses are always about cutting out everything that's just not meant for us. And this is divine change. This is divinely guided eclipses, changes, shakeups, in order to step onto the path of true soul love, harmony, union. Sometimes we don't know what is good for us, so we end up hanging on to stuff that's really not meant for us. And this eclipse is basically going to take things away from us that aren't going to be serving us stepping into the next leg of the journey. So it is in preparation for that physical unit, for that physical unity, for that physical union, when Mars and Venus conjunct again in February in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about earthly energy, grounding these reunions in the physical dimension. So I do feel releasing illusion is huge, especially with Neptune going direct. A lot of clarity when it comes to what it is that you've been longing for. So you really need to listen to your own higher guidance. Today we have a very powerful shift. It is the 29th. 29 is a very karmic number. It is the ending of, a cycle. So we have Mercury trine Chiron today and Mars trine Neptune. So that's that masculine portal gateway opening up to release these illusions, I feel. And with Mercury trine Chiron, that's all about the wounded healer. So Mercury in Sag at 8 degrees 36 is indicating something coming back around to be dealt with, especially with Chiron and Aries at 8 degrees 36 and in the 9th house of Pisces. So I feel it is about restoring a connection to your house of creativity and with children. And I do feel a lot of artistic and creative sparks for many within the collective with this aspect, because our wound really is where we tap into these creative aspects of self. So I think get ready to face some crisis in the energy today, especially for the masculine, in order to face these doubts stemming around what is his meaning for his life. I think the masculine's going to be dealing with a ship full of crazy lunatics today, to be honest, in order for him to find meaning again, and in order for him to come forward and regain that trust with the divine feminine. So what happens when the wounded healer and Mercury blend together? Because this can cause a lot of anxiety in the energy today. So if you are feeling a wave of anxiety or pressure on the heart or feeling insecure, I do feel this is pushing you to come forward with communication. I think there is fear about saying the wrong thing, feeling misunderstood, or maybe, the masculine's been made fun of in the past. But I do feel with this aspect today, it is going to give the masculine a chance to heal through spoken words, in order for the masculine to understand his trauma better, in order for him to step into service of helping others, is what I feel. So verbal expression and communication is in key with these aspects today, because we truly do, as twins, have the power to touch the deepest wound of the other. And although this can be a challenging aspect, I do feel the masculine is being pushed to learn from this experience, to come forward and release any fears about communication in order to release these harmful beliefs of the past once and for all. So this is a very beautiful aspect for personal growth. It can create a source of conflict within the false contracts. And the pain is likely to be triggered at the deepest level in order for the masculine to really step into healing. Communication is crucial with this Chiron and Mercury aspect. It's going to allow us to give more detail to one another about this journey on the twin, about this twin flame journey. It's about restoring a sense of understanding when it comes to these core wounds, understanding what the other twin really needed to go through to get to the other side of this transformation. And I do feel the masculine feels like the feminine can really read his mind. The telepathic connection is really opening up again this week. And I do feel, the masculine is deeply craving coming forward with that communication. And I've been shown a vision of some of these masculines just showing up and ringing the doorbell, and the twins being face to face. So with Mars in Scorpio in the 11th house, also in Scorpio at 16 degrees 10, I do feel this is the final tower for the masculine when it comes to the energy this week. And with Neptune in Pisces in the 3rd house in Pisces at 1610, it really is going to affect our mental processes in the energy today and how we communicate. It's going to spark a lot of intuitive thinking. And I do believe that the energy is going to push the masculine to come forward no matter how insecure he is feeling. So with Mars trine Neptune, this is going to stimulate the masculine sensuality, his creativity, and his community of spirit. So there is this very strong magnetic attractiveness towards the feminine with this shift this week. And it's the ideal time for the masculine to come forward and restore passion within these connections. So sexual encounters are likely to be very compassionate and tender this week with the twins and deep in spiritual nature. So I do feel the aggression is going to lift as the twins, tap into this higher energy. This transit really is motivating the masculine to express himself, to feel this strong urge towards his spiritual practice, and to really get involved in this collective effort with the divine feminine this week. So it is a good time to learn about how astrology is affecting your life. I do suggest booking in a full personal reading to really understand your life purpose and to understand how to master your vibrational energies and how we can influence others. This really isn't a super aggressive energy, but it is allowing the masculine today, I feel, to draw on his spiritual courage, to find his fighting spirit, and to defend the divine feminine and the ones that he truly loves. So battles can be won now basically through acts of kindness rather than attacking others. And I do feel motivation is being restored within the masculine to stand up for what is right and what is just in order to restore that balance is kind of what I feel. The energy really is pushing the masculine today to stand strong in his moral and ethical convictions. Tomorrow we have a pile of transits. Tomorrow, November 30th, is also my daughter's 11th birthday, my oldest daughter, Mackenzie's 11th birthday. So tomorrow on the 30th, we do have Mercury sextile Saturn, the Sun trine Chiron, Venus sextile Neptune, and the Sun sextile Saturn. So it's going to be a very, very powerful day tomorrow for a lot of transits and energy shifts. So you're likely going to feel this drastically. So get grounded, stay in alignment, because this is going to affect the house of conscious thinking with these aspects. It's going to stimulate the mind, and it really is going to push the masculine once again to express himself. I do feel the energy with Saturn in Aquarius in the 4th house. It is about family, home, and being responsible. The masculine has lacked accountability and responsibility when it comes to this blended family structure. And the energy really is supporting the masculine to find discipline stemming around these family matters. And, although many of us don't like change, we fear the unknown, stepping into new experiences. I feel security is going to be in highlight. Stability is going to be in highlight when it comes to, what are your long-term goals for the future? So I do feel, these roots run deep with the twins. And although it can be easy to stay stuck in the past in these karmic relationships, it is about embracing change in order to reach ultimate happiness. And I do feel with Mercury sextile Saturn, it is giving a very harmonious, balanced approach for the masculine to solve these problems that he's been facing. With the Sun trine Chiron, the Sun in the 11th house, also with the 11th house in Scorpio, it is about stepping into service. It is about honoring that inner core wound and using it to step into healing and to step into helping others heal. So I do feel correcting all past misunderstandings in the energy in order to overcome these deep-seated pains that the twins do share. So I do feel with the Sun and Chiron aspects, it really is going to illuminate the deep wounds that we cling to within our ego. And a lot of these wounds for the masculine does come from the father. So when there's father wounding, it really is hard for the masculine to discover who he really is. And that can be reflected in the energies that he's been embracing. So typical features with the Sun trine Chiron, it will kind of illuminate this defined sense of self, and is going to trigger the masculine to find some inner security, to take some action. I think in the past, the masculine really did thrive in conflict and oppressive forces of structure. And his identity now is going to rely on breaking these stereotypes, standing out against the crowd, and rebelling. I do feel, with the severe self-sabotaging issues that the masculine has been playing into, I do feel it's about to go too far, and he's about to have a very intense tower this week in order to connect himself to his emotional vulnerabilities once again, in order to connect himself to his true conscious identity. So there's a lot going on. I think the energy is very sensitive, and the views of our world are shifting this week as these illusions are being shattered. On the negative side of that aspect, I think get ready to get drug into some very toxic situations with people who thrive on competition and drama, and bring that into your awareness where you're needing to stop giving your emotional vulnerability to these negative circumstances. With Venus sextile Neptune and Venus in the 9th house on the 30th, that is related to higher education, stepping into philosophical thinking. With a lot of this Sagittarius energy too, it is about that big picture thinking. Sag is a very expansive energy. So I do feel with Neptune and Pisces in the 11th house, it is about dreams, hopes, manifesting our best life. It is about friendships and companions that will benefit us moving forward. And I do feel, although there's going to be triggers, it's going to push the masculine to have those long-term plans, to rely on his intuition in order to take some action, because it's going to create this sense of romance in the air, compassion and intuition and telepathic connection between the counterparts. And I feel releasing the fantasy, releasing the illusion, and, finding that inventive spark to figure out how to come forward with that truth. It is going to trigger states of transcendence, I feel, and mysticism and magic all around the divine feminine. And with the Sun sextile Saturn, it's going to trigger this desire to achieve success at all costs. It's going to trigger where you need to kind of get grounded in a better healthcare regime when it comes to alignment of your mind, your body, and your soul. And with Saturn in Aquarius in the 8th house in Capricorn, this is the house that affects financial and sexual matters. It's going to really highlight restrictions in the masculine's life, where he's stuck in this karmic energy that's just too strict. I think get ready for major financial difficulties in the false contracts. And there's going to be problems in order for the masculine to step into taking responsibility, to do the hard work to restore sense of alignment in his life. On Wednesday, December 1st, Neptune goes direct. This is going to be the prerequisite for that eclipse gateway portal. So Neptune always affects mental processes and communication. So there's going to be a lot of intuitive thinking, a lot of higher communication in the higher realities. And I do feel it is going to trigger the masculine to take action without a doubt. Maybe it's impractical for the masculine to leave behind this false sense of security, but I feel he's really needing to adapt to this new energy. And I do feel many of the masculines are going to need to stay away from alcohol. I do feel drug and alcohol abuse is going to be in highlight, because that is what has kept many of these masculines in a state of illusion and delusion. So what to expect when Neptune turns direct? The fog is going to be lifted. There's finally going to be light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be all kinds of emotional inner work that we've been undergoing, whether we've been realizing we've been shifting below the surface or not, that all of a sudden it's all going to make sense. And we're going to have that clarity, because the planet of illusion going direct is going to manifest truth, and it's going to be deep, deep emotional truth. And I do feel sudden revelations when it comes to the veil being lifted. Emotional matters are going to be resolved and moved forward. Although it's been a bit of a blur for the last few months with Neptune in retrograde, and it's this feeling of, treading water, trying to keep your head above water when it comes to these deep emotional issues. I do feel resolution coming after sifting through all of these issues over the past several months. The muddy waters are about to clear, and we will see progression forward within these connections. Change is about to dissolve these restrictions. There's going to be a lot of drastic changes in order to release limitations and restrictions. So I think the masculine really has resisted bringing up, talking about this telepathy that he's had with the divine feminine. And as Neptune turns direct, I think the fear of, those barriers is dissolving, and the masculine is going to want to share that truth with the people he's connected with and with the divine feminine. Change is going to happen no matter what, because it is time for liberation. It is time for freedom. If you've been feeling blocked, divine feminine, with your creative aspects, with stepping into, building your own empire, I think creative blocks are also going to be lifted. You're going to know exactly what it is you need to do to get whatever it is out of your way. And I think it is time to have that heart-to-heart conversation in order to dissolve these emotional restrictions between the counterparts. Write about it, journal about it, sing about it, paint, whatever you need to do, because Neptune direct is about to really inspire a lot of creative aspects for the divine feminine. And this is going to trigger us all discovering our true calling. It's going to be intensely emotional. I'm not going to lie. Welcome to the ascension journey. The truth is going to be heavier than usual, because it's going to point you to where you need to go. It's going to trigger, where you've lacked that truth. And it can be quite painful when you are shown your true calling and all of this is happening all at once as this emotional fog is lifted. So Neptune direct is all about you finding your true higher purpose and entering into the next stages of progression. Stuff that we can no longer deny will be brought to the surface. It really is time for change within our own world and within the world in its entirety. So Neptune direct really is urging us to release emotional garbage that we've been working through, to let go of any anger, any childhood memories that are no longer serving you, to release grudges, to release bitterness, and to discover your true calling. It will allow you to feel lighter, happier, peaceful, and bring in that clarity. So work with the energies, because this energy is going to come in heavy, hard, and fast, and it is about releasing denial. What do you need to leave behind? Because now is the time to bring that truth forward. On Saturday, December the 4th, we do have the new moon in Sag, total solar eclipse, and Mercury opposition Leo. So the new moon in Sag is at 12 degrees 21, a palindrome energy. Everything, making sense is kind of what I feel. And with the sun and the moon both in the third house in Sagittarius at 10 degrees 58, the third house is all about the area of social and intellectual learning. So it's this deep, deep need to search for something more, to feel safe in your own environment, to feel safe in your own philosophical beliefs. And you do know that you have a goal or a mission that is here to give your life meaning. So I do feel faith is going to be tested. And it is time to eclipse out everything no longer working in order to take that risk, to take that leap of faith, and to achieve everything that you desire at the core. So the energy is going to be spontaneous. It's going to be very open, very refreshing, and full of optimism. So use this energy to your advantage. The new moon solar eclipse really is about closing out a major cycle. This is the last of the eclipses with that Gemini Sag polarity axis. So Although many of us might have been feeling very empty over the last several months, going through this void, this purge, I do feel everything is going to become crystal clear. Eclipses have the power to last a solid 6 months after the fact. So I do feel it is about, faith, optimism, our personal belief systems, philosophical thinking, sharing our ideas, embracing a sense of a new adventure again, and staying focused on a personal level. So it is about new beginnings regarding all of these matters. It is about this final set in a series of these long particular sign axes. So it is like a finality, a final ending, permanent change, permanent lasting change is what I feel. We do have Mercury and Sag in the first house. So with Mercury in the first house, it's triggering this inquisition, this intellectual outlook on life, and this search for new connections that are meaningful. So we're going to need to adapt to this change, to these new circumstances, and to have faith in these divinely guided towers. Because with Lilith and Gemini in the 7th house, this is rejection of the relationships that no longer working. I do feel there's a lot of dualistic energy, this search for identity, and to embrace complete freedom. The energy is going to be quite intense and unstoppable this eclipse season. So it is about embracing this knowledge, this information that's coming forward, and to embrace these changes. We're phasing out of a major life transition right now. And the energy really is going to trigger a positive period of growth in the coming months, especially around our communication style. I do think get ready for good fortune to be bestowed on you, Divine Feminine. I do believe windfalls are coming in order for you to really progress your business. It is about work, chores, habits, and health, I feel. So anything being stirred up within your daily routine or feeling chaotic is to allow you to find those alternative pursuits to release that chaos and conflict. Eclipses have the power to set up themes for the next 6 months. So I highly suggest new moons are about setting those intentions. Sit down this week, journal about what it is that you want to bring into your life over the next 6 months going into June next summer. Focus on your personal goals and focus on manifesting that new beginning. Journaling really is going to be key, I feel, this week to work through a lot of these energies. So with all of this occurring in Sag, I do think it's going to increase our understanding and awareness of the world around us, especially when it comes to the worldly issues. Illusions are going to be shattered. Truth is going to be exposed. And I think, as much as we've tried to warn the public, I think it's going to be very heavy when this exposure comes through. So I do feel it's kind of encouraging us to find our courage to expand our horizons, to break free into new ways of thinking, to gain more confidence, and to focus on the big picture, to make those positive changes, and to restore our faith and hope when it comes to our own expectations for our own life. So although we can easily get lost in the details on this spiritual journey, this Sagittarius energy is potent. It's going to allow us new ways to discover and to transcend these blocks, these limitations. It's going to show us where we've blindly went into relationships and where we're needing to break free and have that bravery to step into this new experience, to reap the rewards that the twins are coming into. It is about the masculine really asserting himself from a healthy place of confidence, I feel, and having that blind faith to kind of come forward and take a chance with the Divine Feminine. I do feel with this solar eclipse aligned with Mercury and sextile Saturn, the ideas that come through now are going to be solid and secure when it comes to moving forward if we can apply them towards our success. So we do need to make changes in our thought patterns. We do need to rid ourselves of these toxic negative habits, people, places, and things in order to find a new innovative way to manifest abundance in our lives. So weird little note. I don't know how this rose quartz, this chunk of rough rose quartz ended up way over there when I went to plug in my phone. because I usually keep it way over here on the desk. And yes, I have cats and whatever, but they usually don't mess with my crystals. I bent over to plug my phone in, and it was on the ground, and I did not pick it up. And when I put my phone on the stand, the rose quartz was on my desk. So I don't know why Spirit was fucking with me, but I do think rose quartz is the perfect stone to kind of help with any heaviness on the heart right now. So do a lot of work with your crystals if you're into that, because I do feel it will help keep the energy grounded, Divine Feminine, because I do think heart is at play when it comes to these energies. So we're going to dig in with some cards, guys. We're going to see what comes through for the masculine as well as the feminine for the week ahead. We'll see, we'll dig into the masculine's energy first, what needs to come through for the Divine Masculine for the week ahead. New outlook, that is beautiful. So that's just a confirmation of those eclipse energies, that heart opening. Oh my gosh. There's a lot going on for the masculine. I do feel he is being prompted to make those changes, to really evaluate his life path and his work, because he knows something more is out there awaiting him. So open up to receiving is kind of what's coming through for the masculine. Clarity. The masculine is going to receive that clarity and release whatever's not serving him. He is going through that transformation energy, shedding layers of his life, releasing all kinds of relationships and external factors that aren't serving him. And if he's not consciously making that choice, I do think the universe is going to make that choice for him, because there is that heart opening. Maybe that's why that rose quartz was there. So yeah. I do feel very painful heart opening for many in the masculine collective in order for him to embrace love, forgiveness, and compassion for humanity. Yeah, definitely dismissing the ego this week for the masculine, dismantling those ego desires and stepping into compassion, stepping into his life purpose, twin soul recognition. That veil of illusion is shattered. The masculine can see clearly now his divine counterpart, I feel. He is being prompted to make changes, stepping into his life purpose, stripping away these outdated beliefs in order to step into that high vibration of love with the Divine Feminine. Wow. New outlook, journey to fulfillment on the masculine side today. Breakthrough. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Intensifying. Yeah, the energy is without a doubt intensifying this week for the masculine. That karmic circumstance has come to the surface. I think it's reached its peak, and it is needing to be addressed in order for the masculine to shift his perceptions. There is going to be a breakthrough this week, and Divine Feminine, your hard work and perseverance is finally paying off. I think the masculine couldn't see things for what they were due to the addictions that the karmic kept him in, the over drinking, the drugs. And I do believe this is all being released. The masculine is seeing things from a new perspective. And although these negative karmic attachments have influenced the masculine, he is finally ready to take charge of his own destiny, because it is about reciprocity. And the Divine Feminine has not received proper compensation for the work she's put into this connection. And the masculine is about to bring forward a healthy exchange to give when he has not given in the past. So we will see what needs to come through for the Divine Feminine side. What energies need to come through for the Divine Feminine, please? Yeah, not as much coming through for the feminine as the masculine's. Divine Feminine just flipped out. So lean into your strong intuition, Divine Feminine. Nurture yourself. Step into compassion. Be patient, because you are stepping into liberation, ultimate freedom. You are breaking the chains of the past, restrictions, any impediments. Freedom, freedom, freedom. You are stepping into your most authentic voice. That doesn't surprise me. With the throat chakra upgrades I've been dealing with, it is about honestly and openly expressing yourself. There might be a roadblock to overcome. It might be a very small roadblock. It might be a big roadblock. But either way, it's there to help you understand why it's there. So for me, it was throat chakra blockages, the obstruction I'm dealing with. So that was a clear indication my masculine is struggling to speak his truth. So trust in your intuitive messages, Divine Feminine. because you are gaining self-worth, self-confidence, knowing that your value in this life truly is immeasurable, and you are really stepping into your distinct purpose. I feel breaking free from the matrix is kind of what I feel, and really embracing your spiritual existence, going through deep DNA soul healing. I feel, especially when it comes to ancestral wounds and patterns and embedded trauma, because you are ready for the masculine to return. You are ready. You are open and ready to receive, and the combined energy, major life changes ahead for both of the twins. This change that's taking place this week really is a powerful opportunity for expansion for both of the twins to step into their soul's evolution. So you very well are likely experiencing some ascension sickness. And it can be very uncomfortable as we journey to this higher state of consciousness. And when we purge and release these lower vibrations, we do experience a lot of negative physical symptoms. So be gentle with yourself is a big thing there. So, and not all of us will be feeling those symptoms, depending on what timeline you're at and how much work you've already done. So let's dig in with the Fallen Angels deck and see what else needs to come through on the masculine side. History. So I do feel a lot of history between the twins is in focus this week when it comes to the past life timelines. But we will see what else needs to come through on the divine masculine side with this deck. What else do we need to be aware of? Upheaval. And that came out right away. So I do feel the masculine is dealing with some conflicts this week. A lot of misfortune. Unfortunately, a lot of misfortune. And that's also part of the shedding of the ego. So there is going to be upheaval. I think breaking through the veil of confusion and finding that divinely guided inspiration. Upheaval again on the bottom of the deck. So it's that moment of taking it to the cross, bearing it all to God, pretty much. That's the one thing I would say, like when things are rough, I'll pray, I'll do whatever, and I just give it to God, give it to God, give it to God. And that's a big part of surrendering, giving it to God, and knowing that God has your back. So on the feminine side, we get honesty. So I think get ready for the masculine to come forward with some honesty. And that's all that come out for the feminine. Yeah, so stand strong in your quiet strength, divine feminine. That's what's needed. Quiet strength, because honesty is coming forward. The masculine is getting ready to travel towards you with that honesty. Get ready. There is going to be a settlement, whether that be a windfall, a settlement, an inheritance. But you are about to be rewarded for your efforts. Divine feminine is kind of what I'm feeling. So we'll dig in with some archetype energies for the divine masculine. What else needs to come through for the masculine detective? He's being the observer, going through this initiation of his own intuition. He can clearly see that others around him have falsified some information. A lot of these masculines get entangled with karmic connections that gossip and spread lies about the feminine. And as I say that, I shit you not. I can't freaking make this shit up. Yeah, there was gossip about the divine feminine, and that's all coming to light. Because the masculine, I feel, can see the truth of the situation. Yeah, going through like a spiritual exorcism. Can't help but laugh. So yeah, he's basically exercising his spiritual abilities to get rid of these negative vibration. He is freeing himself from those destructive karmic attachments, I feel, really facing his fears, his inner demons, and digging for some truth, seeking some truth, going into some hermit energy. I do feel there's so much gossip around the divine masculine. It's kind of like the balancing of the scales. The masculine laughed at the feminine in the beginning, gossiped about her, spread lies and rumors. And I do feel, betrayed the divine feminine's confidence. And now that is all coming to light. That secret betrayal is coming to the surface in order for the masculine to have consideration for just how much damage was done to the divine feminine in dishonoring her trust and her love. Because The angels, I feel, really are guiding the masculine to seek some solitude in the energies, to withdraw from these negative attachments. The masculine, I feel, is facing major judgment of others at this time. And he needs to kind of go within and seek some solitude in order to be his own inner guiding light. The masculine placed financial gain and control over this connection, over imparting spiritual insight into the collective along with the feminine. And the divine basically is coming in to show the masculine just how foolish he was. And there's about to be a major tower because the feminine was laughed at, made fun of. The masculine denied this emotional truth. And I feel there's no more denying this truth. There's a lot being revealed. There's a lot of emotions coming to the surface. And I feel now the masculine's the one being laughed at because he was basically a hypocrite towards the divine feminine. And this inability to grow up and be responsible really has, been going on far too long. And his extreme codependency on the karmic energy for physical security is being cut out in order for him to come back into his body, his mind, and his spirit to see things with fresh eyes is what I'm feeling on the masculine side. So we will see what needs to come through on the feminine. Yeah, there's that mask energy coming through. Shedding of the mask. And humility really is part of the journey. That is how we step into compassion. Jesus Christ was humiliated and crucified for his truth. And I feel the masculine is kind of being crucified in the energies, to be honest. Wow, divine feminine. Doesn't get much better than that. Goddess, pioneer, and poet, servant on the bottom of the deck. So you are stepping into service of others, freeing your heart, stepping into loving everybody, really expressing your divine feminine goddess energy, your divine feminine wisdom, your life force energy. You're feeling very sensual this week in the energies, divine feminine, and you are encouraged to express your soul's insights in your own symbolic language because you're a pioneer for New Earth. You truly are a guiding light. You truly are a leader, and it's time for you to really step into your passions, to really step into creating what has not been done before, because we are creating New Earth energies, and it is about stepping into service, compassion, healing, and love for all. So we will see what spirit animal needs to come through for the divine masculine. What spirit animal energy? Tiger, primal power, that primal sexual urge towards the divine feminine, I feel, and peacock. So vision, wisdom, beauty, and guardianship. The masculine is here to be the guardian of the Holy Grail. And this primal instinct is setting in because the masculine deeply desires that sexual connection with the feminine. A lot of creative energy. I feel the masculine is no longer going to be able to defend himself against this love. Embracing these fears. I think there's a lot of hostility around the masculine in order to trigger this action, this shift in perception, to stepping into honoring the beauty of the divine feminine, the wisdom of the divine feminine, and being that guardianship in her life. So what needs to come through for the divine feminine with the spirit animal energy deck? I don't know what that one is. It kind of looks like a bull. Wouldn't surprise me. A goat. Close. Not quite. Sexuality and fertility. So I do think you need to be aware of malicious intents in and around you, divine feminine. I do feel the karmic energy really does want to slander you. So be aware of that. But I do feel what's been denied is no longer going to be denied to you, because the energy really is fertile. And you do have a lot of protection around you, a lot of spiritual aid with the spider, black widow energy, I feel. So I kind of feel like the masculines getting bitten by the black widow, something about a grandmother spirit on the other side for many of you divine feminines out there that really is guiding you towards fulfillment. And wow, we got the scarab, which is all about regeneration. So there is regeneration between these connections being shaped this week in the energies. Let's see what needs to come through for the twins with the Kipper deck. a gift. So I do think the Divine Masculine wants to come forward with a gift and offer a proposal of some sort, because we get the wealthy man, and I think, you know, the true wealth comes in honoring the heart. I do think the masculine is experiencing some financial hardships, some poverty in order to go through this death and this rebirth, to be able to come forward with that gift of truth, honesty, and integrity for the Divine Feminine. And I feel with the clock, the time is now for this transformation to take place. We will see what needs to come through with the Gilded Lenormand deck. Clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The time is now. I think the masculine's feeling like a cuckoo for not choosing the feminine. The foxes are being removed. The karmic energy is being removed because the Divine Masculine's life force energy is being activated, because it is time for the twins to reap their harvest and to expose these rats in the masculine's life is kind of what I'm feeling. So let's dig in with some tarot for each of the twins. And I chose the Mystic Monday deck today. So we'll get some tarot on the masculine side first. What else needs to come through for the masculine? That Queen of Wands came through sideways. She's going to be a challenge to deal with this week. Aries, Leo, Sag. But these cycles are closing out. Yeah, that Queen of Wands really has taken the masculine to that rock bottom. It came out as a challenger. So I do feel the karmic energy is lashing out, jealous, possessive, angry. But the masculine is finally learning that core wound and going into deep, deep healing. Wishes are being granted this week. This cycle is closing out, and it is stemming around that moon cycle, that eclipse season. That is when the masculine, I feel, is going to rush in with this truth to the Divine Feminine with a brand new offer in love. So we'll see what needs to come through on the feminine side. Major cycles. I feel everything coming full circle. Yeah, the feminine has released the internal struggle between the head and the heart. No more confusion. And that's bringing in that Divine Masculine. That's bringing in the Emperor, that protector for the Divine Feminine. No more confusion. No more internal struggles. Total surrender and acceptance for the feminine this week, I feel. Yeah, releasing the juggling, releasing the pain of the past betrayals is kind of what I'm feeling, because the masculines really did stab the feminine in the back. But I do feel all of that is being released, forgiven, surrendered, and the masculine will be returning, a reversal of the scales. This is an eternal connection. So we'll get a few more messages with the Love Oracle deck and the Twin Flame Oracle deck. Yeah, releasing these outdated, conditioned patterns, thought patterns. I do feel the masculine's been replaying this over and over and over in his head. And, you know, he's not been showing his true self, his true feelings. He's been hiding in delusions. And he is missing you. This separation is coming to a close. That snake energy, she's your enemy, Divine Feminine. She creates competition. She's very malicious. You are going to need to look over your shoulder, Divine Feminine, because that girl with the snake, she's nasty. She's a narcissist, and she is going to try to keep charming the masculine, using the masculine. And I do feel the masculine enabling those boundaries when it comes to that snake energy. Releasing the mask. I do feel the karmic energy really is diluting the masculine, gaslighting, hiding her true intentions. But the masculine, either way, is missing you. He wants to welcome love back into his life and opening up his heart. I do think he's planning on coming forward and getting together with you, Divine Feminine. Yeah, and on the feminine side, we do get breakup, separation. The masculine is going to stop with the silent treatment. It's kind of getting old. I do think, Divine Feminine, spend time with your soul sisters. I do feel many of the feminines really have just kind of moved on, and they are enjoying their happy single life, living in the moment, having a good time, which is in turn calling back the masculine for this unconditional loving connection, equal giving and receiving, and falling in love again. Because yes, this is your counterpart, Twin Flame. wedding rings. So I do feel union energy strongly. This everlasting eternal love is coming together for physical weddings, I feel, proposals, as this dualistic energy balances out. So I don't think the masculine is showing his hand of cards within this karmic relationship. I do feel he is being strategic, hiding his true intentions with that karmic energy. I do feel a lot of fleeting triggers in the karmic relationships, a lot of resentment, a lot of turmoil in order for the masculine to let go, because he does want to call you. There is a higher level of commitment and engagement ring coming, a completion of a cycle, because this is an eternal union that the twins share. So get ready for the masculine to return with a solid committed offer. And I think this will likely lead to engagement and marriage very, very quickly for the twins as we get closer to when they meet again. So, you know, that karmic partner energy coming through really is pushing the masculine to grow. There is that energy of feeling blocked in order for the masculine to cut these negative attachments. So if you've been feeling blocked, if you've been feeling like in this void, put on a pause, it's because the masculine is going through this metamorphosis at this time. Celebrate, because we are drawing closer to one another. There is a fated meeting imminent between the twins, and the masculine is in this deep process of transformation, which is in turn creating a little bit of delays. We'll get a couple more stone deck messages, crystal stone deck messages, and we'll close off the read. What else needs to come through for the twins? That's a big pile. So develop your foresight, third eye energy. Enter your chill zone. Keep your freaking cool, divine feminine, because the masculine's getting ready to speak that truth, because his spiritual path is being illuminated. He is tuning into his sensitivity, and he's banishing these karmic energies. I feel the masculine's kind of brooding, binge watching you behind the scenes. I think he watches you if you are, you know, putting yourself out there, divine feminine. He's watching your every move. He is tapping into his ancient Akashic memories. You know, the masculine's ghosted the feminine, and I feel there's a ghost about to come back from the dead, divine feminine, because he just absolutely adores you, and he's stepping into the vastness of his own consciousness, lighting up his spiritual path, and I do feel stepping into speaking that truth. I do feel the masculines have lost their voice, and it's time for them to speak up and to speak out. They've definitely got something to express, and the time is now for them to get a grip and to develop foresight when it comes to stepping into these new energies. So don't freak out if the karmic tries to attack you, divine feminine. Don't freak out. I do feel there's going to be karmic justice served for the karmic attacks in the past. I know on my birthday this year, my divine masculine's karmic thought it was just funny as all hell to call Child Protective Services with a bunch of lies against me. And I do feel that truth is about to be exposed. So, you know, when people lie and manipulate and keep people stuck on purpose, the divine isn't going to allow that to continue with this eclipse season. We can't hold on to things that are no longer serving us. So get in alignment with your head and your heart. I think get ready for overly dramatic endings this week as the masculine prepares to speak clearly from the heart. I do feel, yes, he's lost his voice. It's long past time to release these karmic attachments. And it's time for the masculine to finally feel himself once again and to speak this truth is kind of what's coming through for the week ahead. So get ready, get grounded, release, surrender, flow through the energies as best as you can. And if you would like to book a personal reading, do feel free to shoot me a message and we can get that all set up for you. I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.